Good morning. I'm Dan. That
Hi,
is
I'm
Liz.
Liz.
Oh,
Careers and
yeah.
coffee.
Yes. You can barely see my coffee cup. And there's Liz's. We got it going on a Friday morning here, and we're hanging out in the woods, it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
if you're listening to this, we're here to talk about some quick tips or just discuss the current state of job searching in Eastern Iowa.
Yeah. And it's been a little bit since we've done a podcast. We realized that we're going to get back after it here. We're right at the end of October 2021 right now. The year has flown by. Um, and there's a lot of jobs available, right? The market is still hot, and wanted to address something today. And Liz, I want to get your thoughts. So we run ads on Corridor Careers. We run on Facebook, we run on Instagram, we run on Google. So and maybe you've seen some of them, maybe not. But we got a comment on one of our ads, and I'm going to read it to you. It says, "So many people I talk to are saying the same thing. I apply and I hear nothing back." So, Liz, I just want to get your feedback on that. What are some reasons that people might not hear back from an employer after applying?
And firstly, that's just very frustrating part. Everyone hates job searching, so no one likes it. And I can understand the frustration in that comment of, come on, I'm doing my hardest and nothing's happening for me. But there are a lot of reasons that aren't related to you personally, as to why you may either be rejected or just ignored when it comes to a job interview stage. So you start with this mass, I'm applying for everything, or I'm applying for a lot of jobs, not everything, but a lot of jobs. And then the next stage, obviously, that you want to get to is the interview to be considered for that role. And a lot has to happen in order to get you to that interview stage. For the first step, there is, especially if you're applying online, there is a lot of software that gets in the way, and it's by design. It's so that it was built back in, most of the software that we're running now is probably launched back in 2008 when we had a crash and there was so many applicants and not enough jobs. And so they built the system in order to weed out and do what hiring managers were asking for, which is, I just want qualified applicants so that I don't have to waste my time on applicants that don't have the skill set that I'm looking for, are not suited for this company, and it's going to be a lose-lose situation to get into an interview with that person. So we're still dealing with that software that's very picky about who it allows to get through the gate. And ways that you can bypass that gate are through researching keywords. So if you're applying for a job that you feel you have a matched skill set for, make sure that the way you describe your experience matches the keywords that they use in the job description. So if they ask for 1 to 2 years of experience and you have 1 to 2 years of experience, make sure that you list, I have 2 years experience in X. And then if they ask for, must be familiar with whatever thing, make sure you use the exact same wording in your resume so that it matches. And I know that's a lot of work, but if you're getting to this frustration point where you're like, I'm applying for a bunch of stuff, then you need to change. You need to make a change. You needed to try something different. And there are a lot of options of what that different step could be. You could either go through your resume and do what I'm saying of do this keyword matching effort so that you feel like your online application will flow through. The other option is you could try to meet with a person. So we have a ton of resources in town, in both Iowa City and Cedar Rapids. Iowa Works is really a great location to go and chat with somebody about, hey, I'm really struggling with this. Can you help me get some connections? So that's if you we've been in lockdown for a while. I understand if you kind of lost connections with professionals or other people that could potentially help you get a shoe into a local employer. So don't be afraid to reach out to some of the structures in our system that will help you get that connection. Other options are, I think at the LAD library, they have Urban Dreams there's a person there that's there occasionally that can help you get a direct connection to an employer. And then of course, LinkedIn, reach out to your connections on LinkedIn and just let them know, hey, I'm looking for something. You know anything that'd be right for me?
Yeah, all great stuff there. Great tips. And I would go back to kind of one of the things you mentioned about meeting somebody. And if you think about from an employer's perspective, how they look at hiring, if they're hiring for a role, they're number one, probably going to look internally first and to see if, say it's not a very entry level role, if they can fill that role with somebody internally that they already have employed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then number two, they're going to look for people that they know or references from current employees, right? So definitely having that network, I feel like is huge in getting your foot in the door or getting past that maybe initial first step or like that archaic 2008 software that you're talking about that we all have to go through. I feel like that bit of humanity and knowing somebody that's huge in getting past that.
Yeah. I mean, I think at that point, if you're really getting a lot of rejection, you gotta turn up the dial a little bit and figure out, okay, what's wrong here? Because we know there are enough jobs and we know there are enough employers that are in dire need of employees. And we keep hearing from employers that, well, we can't, they're saying the same thing. I put my job posting out there and I don't get all the applies I'm looking for. They're suffering from the same problem. Of course, not as in a dire situation as a job seeker, but it can be a problem just making that connection. And sometimes we just have to make a personal connection. So I guess for moral of the story, if you're really struggling with getting a response to your resume or your application, so it could just be you're filling out applications, maybe take a look at how you're presenting your skill set and your experience. Are the jobs you're applying for suited for you? Are they in your skill set?
Yep.
And then if that's true, then reach out to a person. So we'll put a bunch of resources in the notes for this podcast about where you can reach out locally to get a connection. And if you don't want to talk to Iowa Works, there are lots of other resources too. So.
Yep. I love it. All right, Liz, that's going to do it for this one.
All right. Have a great rest of your week.